Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's Breakfast with Boom. I am your host, MrBooMStickXL. And wow, did I put one of the biggest and best panels of this show's history together for you today. Get ready for the best 2 hours you've ever spent listening to a podcast. But let's get right into the introductions because there's a lot to catch up with. First up, he's a man known on these gaming streets who says the West Coast is the best coast. Showrunner of the dope ass GRG podcast, lifelong gamer, YouTuber, and creator of the hashtag True Gamers Wanted movement. Please welcome my man, K Mega. What's up, dude?
He's on mute.
Oh,
He stepped out, I think, actually, right before we started.
well, you know what? We'll get back to him in a second.
What?
Next up, rookie sensation, number one draft pick and panel member of the next podcast, YouTube content creator, game enthusiast, and lover of all things pertaining to gaming, making his first appearance on Breakfast with Boom. Welcome, good old Knox. What's up, dude?
What's going on, Boom, man? Thanks for having me here, man. It's a freaking pleasure to be here, man. I can't wait to get into these topics, brother. Let's get it.
Well, listen, I'm glad that you're here. It's great to have you on the show. Been listening to you on the next podcast. You got a lot to say. It's going to be really cool just to talk gaming with you.
Absolutely, it is. I can't wait.
Next up, someone who, in my opinion, should have been nominated for Best New Content Creator of the Year 2018. Panel member of the RDX podcast, a man who proudly says, I just don't play games. I try to be a driving force in my community. Making his second appearance on Breakfast with Boom, Zolker87.
What's going on, everybody? It's good to be on. Boom, thanks for having me on again. We have a lot of badass topics to talk about. Let's get this show going.
Yes, definitely. Last, and in no way least, a real American hero, a gamer who spreads Xbox goodness where and whenever he can, panel member of the next podcast, OG affiliate of the Crossfire Posse and president, COO, and leader of the Vote for Pred Foundation, who is in the process of putting into law that mud trucks should never win best gameplay, my very good friend Predator H2O. What's going on, dude?
Yo, man, that was a fire-ass intro, man.
Listen, you know what? I say this all the time. When I have guests on, I love putting you guys at the front of the line. I love giving you these intro. I was up till 1:30 last night writing these. I think you deserve it. And again, it's an honor to have everybody on the show, and I really like putting you guys out there.
Well, thank you for that, and I'm happy to be here for the episode of Breakfast with Boom. So let's get this shit going. Hopefully, K Mega's back.
Yes, well, he's still on mute, but we'll do the round table. Okay, so now we're going to hit into topic one. The VGAs have come and gone. Needless to say, there's a lot to discuss. So I'm going to pose several questions to this amazing panel, and here are some of them. And you can break it down in any way you see fit when I get to you. Biggest surprise of the show, biggest disappointment of the show, the new game reveals. What was your personal favorite? With this being the award show, what are you personally happy or / disappointed with who won and who lost? What game / franchise do you wish was there but did not make an appearance? And for the Video Game Awards for 2019, what would you personally change to make it a better show? I want to go to Zolker87 first. Listen, I know there's a lot of questions. There's a lot to unpack. Let's just get your take on what your thoughts of the Gaming Awards 2018 was for you.
I felt like it was a little long.
Yes.
I felt like I was like, wow. It was like me, Shady, and Dealer were in a party, and we were just like, man, this is going on for quite some time. A couple of the reveals were, I thought the Far Cry reveal was actually really cool. I liked the way that game looked. The Rage 2 little trailer they had just blew my mind. And it wasn't even a surprise to me, but, when God of War won Game of the Year, I was telling them, I was like, God of War is going to win, because I don't know if you guys know this, if you saw my review, I'm not the biggest fan of Red Dead. So I really told him, I was like, I think that's gonna win because overall, I just think it's a good, it's gonna be a better game, and it won. So that was really cool. One of the games that I really wanted to show up there, but it didn't, was Borderlands 3.
Yes,
And
dude, absolutely.
yeah, and it just didn't show up, and I'm just like, man, all right, well, it didn't show up. I mean, we're gonna wait another 15 years for this damn thing, and yeah, so that's pretty much all of the things that came up. Did I get all those questions? I don't even.
You know what? No, I mean, listen, dude. This is a conversational podcast. We come out here each and every week and we talk about what we liked, we didn't like, and obviously the Game Awards. There's still a lot to discuss. I mean, obviously you said your piece, but okay, now for you as a gamer who looks forward, you're a media person as well. We don't have badges that says I work for IGN or GameSpot, but you know what? We're still content creators. Everybody on this panel is. So for you as a content creator, someone that keeps his ear to the floor, were you satisfied with the Game Awards in regards to its substance, or would you make some sort of changes for 2019?
I would cut it. I would cut the fat out, and I felt like there was a lot of. I mean, at the end of the day, I was like, man, I want to try vaping. But everybody, there was just so much commercial. I was just like, what's going on with this thing? Like, let's speed this up a little bit. The 30 minutes of like with the countdown was kind of unnecessary.
I agree. Yeah, that's
seeing Phil Spencer there was really cool. But the one thing that actually surprised me and I didn't bring up because I just totally remembered was I liked what Obsidian has shown with their new game. Yes. Really gets me excited for that developer to go to Xbox. But the big one was that Marvel Ultimate Alliance game by the Switch. Dude. I don't have a Switch. All I want from Switch is Smash Brothers. That's the second game I want. Once I saw that Sentinel dressed like that was designed like the X-Men cartoon from the 90s, I was sold. But the other thing was, how does Sony and now Nintendo have a Marvel exclusive, and Xbox is sitting there without one? That's what I'm just sitting there going.
That's actually a fantastic question. I really wish someone would answer that because you're 100% right. I mean, I think Marvel is a big enough company. There's enough IPs, especially now that they got they got the stuff from Fox. So they have the ability to say, okay, Spider-Man, you can go to Sony. You keep running with that. You guys are great. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. 3, which I'm going to be honest with you. If it would have been in a list of 100, it would have been number 100 if I would have picked it. It was coming true because I loved Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. 1 was much better than 2. But this, I have a Switch. I'm a big supporter. I have like 40 games for it. I absolutely adore it. I play it with my nephew mostly. That's where I really have a lot of fun with it. But this game, dude, when I saw exclusive, like I literally sat back on my channel. I'm like, well, this is number 1 on 2019's list.
I sat there and I was like, well played, Nintendo. I haven't wanted Switch until about goddamn now. Like, way to go. Because that's just what I wanted. And I feel like Microsoft should just walk up to Marvel because it looks like they're just giving their part of their IPs to make games. Like, walk up to them and be like, hey, we want to make a Captain America game. I mean, come on.
Do something.
I don't care. Just bring us something. Can you imagine a throwable shield just like the axe? I mean, I'm just saying.
No. Listen, if a throwable axe can win Game of the Year, and rightfully so, because that game was a complete masterpiece. It's a throwable shield could win one as well. So we'll see. But you know what? I'm going to come back around because, like I said, we're going to talk about winners and losers of different topics. But I kind of just want to get to everyone and get their overall opinion. K-Meg, I want to go to you, dude. I'm not sure whether you heard the opening. It was
I had duty called.
Okay. Well, when you listen on the replay, it was perfect for a man of your stature. Okay. Mm-hmm. So with that said, though, okay, I'd like to get your take on what you thought of the Game Awards. Like I said, I asked a bunch of questions. There's no real easy, right or wrong answer. But for you as a gamer, as a content creator that talks about gaming on a weekly basis, what were your takeaways from the Game Awards 2018?
I took it as a lot of progress. This was the best one, I think, in ages for the VGAs. They found a niche. It was a little bit too long. I agree with everybody else. I mean, you take away one of the musical acts, and and then go into and the advertisement. I mean, they got to pay the bill some kind of way. So I mean, they
Absolutely.
had to do the advertising, and I didn't have a problem with it because I mean, look, if without the advertisers, we wouldn't have got to see the Marvel Alliance 3, which I'm right with you. I'm going to get me a Switch immediately. So I got that had me hype. Another take on it was just that it felt more like a pre E3 or you know what I'm saying, like or like
yes,
PSX, whatever you want to do, instead of it being like you having a whole bunch of people coming up there on stage, or they having those awkward moments like they have been in the past. Like it had a flow to it. It just that it was just long. So for me, the winner of the night was Mortal Kombat 11. Like that.
Yep.
That was insane, and I cannot wait to see that. And also the Obsidian game, that looked fantastic. And there was another game that I really looked at that sparked my interest. It was called Ancestors. It was basically showing the monkey and
yes,
like
that actually looks
it looked very interesting. This just shows like the industry is healthy and everything is and like you get all these different type of games. It's almost like now watching movies because of how detailed that these games are starting to be. So yeah, it was a win-win I think for everybody, and especially God of War winning. You know, my personal choice would have been Red Dead because I completed both, and I just think that Red Dead was just more of a complete game overall for being open world, online, etc.
Yeah, no, I mean, I absolutely agree. I mean, I love what you're talking about because there were a lot of highs, very little lows. And I'm going to say this: I'm a big fan of soundtracks. I don't collect them, but I've listened to quite a few in my days. I'm gaming over 40 years, so I've really kept my ear to the ground when it comes to good music. And I'm going to say this, man. Usually these orchestras or these bands that come up, they're usually terrible. Last night they were magnificent.
I mean, yeah, they were fantastic.
Absolutely. Gad.
No, I was just going to say the song that they played,
Red Dead,
the Red Dead, which
yes.
was a very pinnacle point into the Red Dead game.
Yeah,
in the story mode, that just brought me chills of how I cannot wait to get that soundtrack because that's the music in Red Dead is absolutely amazing.
It really
best
is.
part of the game. Best part of the game when that song comes on.
Yeah,
that was one of the best parts of the damn game.
It was great. I didn't want the horse ride to stop because I was like, this is jamming, bro.
It was.
That was really good, really good. But it just showed you because that song was, I think, about 5, 6, 7 minutes long, and he had to go from one end to the very other end of the map. That was very impressive, man. Very impressive.
Absolutely phenomenal. In my opinion. Real quick, I got to pay the bills, man. This is incredible. Al Hogan with the $25 super chat. He says, "Boom, my brother in blue. Love breakfast with Boom. I'm always listening while being a slave to the radio. I know what that's all about, my brother. Watch your 6 and make sure you sign out at the end of your tour. Keep it coming, man. Thank you so much for that. It's greatly appreciated. It's pretty amazing that you do these shows and you get to meet so many people and you don't know what they usually do. Like, I'm very transparent. Everyone knows that I was a retired New York City police officer. I'm very proud of that because I held that position with honor and distinction, and I helped hundreds of people in my 21 years, and it was a job that I wanted to do since I was playing with my G.I. Joe. So it's to see other police officers and military personnel and just the average person hanging out with me and you guys is just it's such a big thrill for me. But Predator, I want to go to you on this, dude. Now you had some things to say during the during pregame. What were your takeaways from the Game Awards 2018? And for you as a content creator, what would you change to make it better for 2019?
I'll say it was better than the last ones we've had. It's still
okay
stuff. I really can't put my finger on it. I'm glad they changed up the format a little bit where they kind of got those little smaller ones out of the way that I'm not a big fan of watching esports and stuff like that, but they kind of got those out of the way. It just kind of seemed like they announced them like really fast though, but they got them out of the way. We didn't have to watch that stuff. It seemed like every commercial was a fucking Nintendo Smash Brothers commercial. It seemed like every time we took a break, there was something about Smash Brothers coming on. Okay, we get it. You're promoting the game. that was like the biggest takeaway for me, like that dead space right in there. I wasn't surprised with the winners. Nobody that, anybody that won, I wasn't like, you didn't deserve that. I could have kind of nitpicked at some of the categories that some of the games were in and weren't in, like Assassin's Creed, I thought should have been an RPG. I think it was in action adventure. Like it might have won RPG if it was in there. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I'm not 100% sure which category. There was one it should have been in, but it wasn't. But it didn't win anything. It seemed like Red Dead kind of mopped up.
It really did, and you're 100% right, because we were actually talking in the pregame about how incredible Assassin's Creed is. The new DLC is launching. It seemed to be one of those titles, in my opinion, that got snubbed. But at the same time, my God, what could you say wrong about Red Dead? You know what I'm saying? Again, It may not be everyone's game, but just the quality, it just was. Listen, I'm going to put it to this way. I think that if Red Dead doesn't come out, any year that God of War releases, it wins. It wins all the categories.
It would have swept
and I really believe that if these two games were not in the same year as Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that also would have basically just mopped up and won all the awards, because the music is amazing, the story, the atmosphere, the writing. It's just each one. It just was a really incredible year for gaming.
Yeah, it has been. This generation has actually been really good too. We were talking about this last night. Biggest surprise of the show, the fact that there weren't any, which is also my biggest disappointment. We did not get any of the leaks that we just that were dropped. Like no Splinter Cell,
Yes.
no
all Borderlands 3.
Yeah, no Borderlands. I think someone mentioned that in pregame.
No Death Stranding.
No news. We didn't need Death Stranding anymore. No, what was I about to say? No studio acquisitions that we've been kind of rumored, like all those rumors, and that's where I fault myself at, because I got caught up in the hype, and I usually don't do that leading up into these events, and I did, and I got myself in a situation where I was kind of disappointed that I didn't see any of that at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see your point, because I'm going to be honest with you. Usually, Boom gets hype, and I always say my glass is more than half filled. I think it's overflowing with hypeness, and I didn't have that this time. I sat reserved, and I didn't even mention Splinter Cell. It's a running joke with me. I've been talking about freaking Splinter Cell since 2016, and I've been wrong every time. So I'm tired of being wrong. I'm just tired of it. So I don't mention it anymore. When it comes out, I'll play the damn game. But I agree with you. But real quick, I have to pay the bills. A big shout out to the Welsh gamer who's in the chat with the $5 super chat. That is my co-host on the Xbox Factor podcast. Thank you so much, Drew. I appreciate it. And Michael Johnson, who's always in the chat. Big supporter of not just me, but everyone with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. It is greatly appreciated. But I have to get... who didn't speak about this? Knox, my brother. Listen, I know that you had on mute because you've been having the construction situation by you, but you know what? You're here to talk about games, and let's just do that. What were your takeaways on the VGAs? Biggest disappointment, biggest surprise for you personally, and what would you do to make 2019 better?
All right, so the thing that like a surprise, I guess, would be really, because this is a franchise that I'm not even aware of, that I had zero interest in, was that Rage 2. I actually thought it was Borderlands 3 at first. I was like, is that a new Borderlands game? But that Rage 2 did pique my interest. I was like, wow, man, I'm going to look into this game now. That and Mortal Kombat 11, because Mortal Kombat 11 just looked insane. That little CG thing was hot. I was feeling that. Also Ancestors, that also piqued my interest. And I want to know more about the Dead Wolf Rises, that BioWare game. I want to know if that's a new RPG. I want to see more on that. They just showed like kind of that little trailer.
Dragon Age.
Is it?
That's exactly what that was, yeah.
That definitely was a Dragon Age.
Yeah.
All right. It didn't say.
That's what it looked like. That's what I thought.
Well,
you
seen the dark elf at the bottom.
Yes.
And with the flames, and then like the insignias and stuff. I just think that the Dread Wolf is like some badass villain, which sounds dope. So
yeah. That's a great name for villain. The Dread Wolf. I'm not fucking with him. I'll tell you that.
Those were the things. What I found a little disappointing, although like the environment is like a lot more pleasing, right? It looks a lot more professional, you know, for the VGAs, and they've come a long way.
So
From
the
when they
Microsoft
started.
Center is it's a nice building, man.
Yeah, but the show just felt like a little stiff to me. You know what I mean?
There were some points. I agree with you.
You know, but we're there for the games, and you know, game wise, it was, you know, it was entertaining, I guess, for the most part. You know, God of War got Game of the Year. I can't be too upset about that. It's a freaking awesome game. You know what I mean? I wish Red Dead would have took it, but that's just me. That's my personal thing. You know, it is what it is, man. It was okay. I just think that maybe next year they could, like, I don't know, make it a little more loose, a little more entertaining. You know, I did like the music. Someone in the panel said something about like cutting maybe less of the, you know, them playing music and stuff. I thought that was cool. The orchestra at the end that like did the little mashup between all the Game of the Year candidates, and that was hot. I enjoyed that. You know, like I'm like, oh man, they did a great job, that orchestra right there with that music. But yeah, man, this make it feel a little more entertaining. You know, when we're not seeing games, just, you know, when
kind of move it
watching,
along a little bit, yeah.
Yes, move it along in a little more entertaining fashion. And if Jeff Keighley's gonna sit there and give like these esports best this, best that, and just kind of run through them, well, best esport this and best, it just kind of blowing right through them, then don't even mention them. Like I don't know, find a different way to do it, I guess.
Yeah, you know, I mean, in the Academy Awards, they do have like a pre-award ceremony where people do win that they don't talk about on the main show. And I think maybe that's what you're referring to. That actually is a fantastic idea, Knox, because it does kind of slow, like an anchor drag the show a little bit, I think.
But not only that, it just seems so rushed. Like if he really didn't even want to be doing it. Best esports team, best esport game, best esport event, best, you know, he's just like throwing them out there, you know, best esport host, best esport coach, all back to back.
Yeah, you're right.
Like he just wants to get it out of the way, and that's, you know, that's kind of disrespectful to those categories if you're gonna do that. You know what I mean? So either show them the proper respect, or just don't mention them at all, or find a better way to do it, like in that little pregame thing, I guess. Right? He could have. I think.
No, you're right. You're right.
Probably that is where he did it, but you know, they could have done a little better if you didn't even do that.
Absolutely. Now, listen, I have a few things written down I want to talk about. First of all, there were a couple of things on a social level that I think are important to talk about because, you know, in my prior career, I did most of youth relations, and I did more community policing, where I wasn't just a dude in a uniform. I wore a mohawk. A lot of people, you know, I humanized my outer being, if you will, that when people saw me, they weren't so taken aback, because, you know, being a police officer in New York City could be tough. I had a fantastic 21-year career. So I was the only guy out of 30,000 people that had a mohawk. I got my balls broken for it, but it worked for me with the public. I liked the how it humanized me, and I wore that the good half of my career. But there were a couple of things during the awards that were commercials, and I kind of want to talk about. I thought were important. First and foremost, the Girls Make Games advertising was fantastic. The fact that it's in 18 countries, that's a big deal, because obviously, you know, when you talk about gaming, even though we know that there's a very, very high percentage of women and girls who play games, right? It's not like 80-20. It's more like maybe 55-45. There's a lot of girl gamers out there. So I thought that was really, really important. I was very happy with that. Now, I know Facebook and it has gotten a lot of slack for some of the stuff they've done, but the Facebook gaming commercials I thought were incredible. They told stories of personal struggles. My favorite one was the kid in Africa. About how his mother saved for 3 years to buy him a computer. I thought that was, dude, I'm not even gonna lie. I got choked up then, and I'm getting choked up now. I like human stories. I think that, you know, it's important that it's not just about what plastic box and what damn flag you fly. And K Mega will agree with that. With the shit that goes on social media, it's ridiculous.
Right.
One of the other things that shocked me, and they're coming in strong, and this is where I want to get the panel's opinion on this, is the Epic Game Store Yo, they are looking to go after Steam's throat. Everything was, I mean, am I the only one that was like really taken aback? I mean, we know Fortnite is big. We know that they're making billions with a B, but to come out and just have the advertising front and center, it's on this, it's on, it's on Epic Game Store right now. It's on, early access. What are you guys, I'll go to Zolka first on this. What were your takeaways with them trying to really, give Steam a run for their money?
It reminded me of what Steam did years ago, back in 2003.
Yes.
Steam used Counter-Strike as that catalyst to bring Steam up and have people use it, because it was it still is a popular game. And that's exactly what Epic's doing. They're using Fortnite as that catalyst for people to use their store, because everybody's using it already. So why not just go click to the right or whatever and use their store? And the other thing I'm going to say is that thing was pushed so much that I was like, man, this thing is like everywhere. It's all over the place. And so was Sony. Sony had a lot of advertisements on there too. Yes. And Xbox didn't have jack shit.
They really didn't, dude. And I was actually a little disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah, they showed the Crackdown 3 once, but
which
everything
was good.
else,
yeah,
it was all right. But everything else, it's like, didn't you say that you're not gonna really advertise on TV? Well, this is literally not TV, and it's right there for you. I don't understand. And it's, hey, we'll see. Maybe they don't want to advertise too much until they start like having reason to advertise. Who knows? To show us some games, but man, that Epic Games thing was just pushed in front of you all the time. And
that was definitely in your face.
Yeah, and they took a page out of Steam's book. So I mean, you can't fault them for trying.
No, I absolutely agree. K-Meg, I want to go to you next on this, dude. Listen, we know what Steam is, right? I'm not a PC guy. I have a Steam account. I don't use it. I had a gaming laptop. Now I just run all my shows off of a Surface Book Pro 4, which does the job and then some. But dude, they're serious. Epic Games, at one point, if you remember, Fortnite was in development hell, and we didn't know what was going to happen. And they just stepped in on the scene, and they just continue to just knock out opponents. And I think Steam is in trouble. What are your takeaways on this?
There's no doubt about it. We've talked about this on Next Podcast and on GRG Podcast, where that all of these companies are finna go after the throat of Steam, just because of the fact that Steam has been basically overcharging these guys for so long. And so now they're like, look, since we're seeing how EA Access is done and these other services, that's these other like services stores or just services, it's a whole new ball game. Plus the fact that I've even also said that once Google and Amazon gets involved, I think that maybe for one of them, it would probably be better to, instead of making a console, is to go after Steam and go after Steam as well, and try to go after the PC market on that end. But yeah, no, I think Capcom is going to be making one. Also, I think that Ubisoft has already got their store. So I mean, it's just the writing is on the wall. Steam is going to have to readjust themselves, or they're going to have to cut back on their costs of play games on there, because PC gamers are going to be a little upset of trying to go everywhere. But man, when you've seen the couple of games that Epic was showing, like it was very enticing. Like that Hades game looked really dope.
You took the words out of my mouth. My God, that looked amazing.
Yeah, it looked dope. It looked like a hack and slash Transistor. You know what I'm saying? On crack.
Yeah, or even well, it's made by the people that did Ashen, and that was a masterpiece. So I expect this to be just as good.
Exactly. So so it's just, to me, it's like the writing is on the wall that Steam is going to have to readjust, and that everybody sees that there's a market there. And who's to say about the rumors that was going down about Steam might be acquired by somebody, or might have, like I said, might have to readjust themselves, because everything is going out. All these companies are now going after them. They see that they can make money on their own by having their own store, and Epic is leading the charge. So kudos to them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Fred, you're a PC dude, right? I mean, you play on the PC. You're not ashamed to talk about it.
Dabble in it a little bit.
Yeah, maybe just a tad. What were your takeaways with the up in your face? I mean, listen, dude, they did, like, they walked to me. Okay, the way I saw this transpire live on the air is they walked up to Steam, turned their back, and then flicked their shoulder, like to get the dust off at them, and walked away. And people were like, whoa, that's what I took. What are your takeaways on them being the next challenger, if you will, for Steam?
You know, people love Steam. A lot of PC
Yes,
gamers
they
love
do.
it. You know, and you know, that's, you know, the first thing they say, well, I'll just get it on Steam. You know, I'll just pick it up. And they have great sales. They also have a lot of fluff in there, like a lot of games that people just will never play. Like this weird shit, like a lot of indie titles and stuff like that. That, you know, it's a good place for independent developers to showcase their games and get them out. And if Epic can do that and get, you know, some of those smaller titles on there to kind of add that fluff on top of some heavy hitters, then I think they'll be okay. I don't think anything's going to replace Steam. I think it's just going to be like, you know, because people are invested in it already, you know. But I think like Epic and all these other companies that are doing it, like, it's just going to make it a little more hassle for the PC gamers to have to go from one place to the next, to the next, to the next, you know, to get their game. There is an option on Steam to actually bring games over into your Steam library, which makes it, you know, convenient. But this is one of those, like, we'll have to wait and see type deals where let's see what they put in there. Because right now I'm looking at what they launched with, which is actually, you know, really surprising that Ashen is in there and not on the Windows Store. So that's one of the things they launched with. Hades, Hello Neighbors.
Yeah.
So, like, smaller games, you know, with the exception of Ashen, I think that's a decent game. I've been trying to play it right now, but obviously Fortnite, but it's going to be in your face, and I think it's because Fortnite is so popular they were able to do something like this, and probably can get away with it because of Fortnite.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it that the Fortnite factor is a big deal. Last but certainly not least, Noximus, dude, listen, I don't know, we're meeting for the first time technically, so I don't know if you're a PC guy. But I think that this is a big deal. This is kind of like a line in the sand. We're coming for you. Move last night. A lot of big titles showing up on this service. It literally was up in your face the entire evening. That's why I had to talk about it, because it's something I remembered. What were your takeaways from the new challenger and possibly giving Steam a run for their money, especially when it comes to how much money Steam is taking from these companies?
No, right. Like, you know, in the latest episode of In Knox We Trust, shameless plug here.
Great.
I actually spoke about this. You know, I mean, we already saw last night, right? They got Ashen in there, they got Hades, they got Dauntless, they got some, you know, little titles there, right? And it's what they're offering, though, right? If they're only going to charge 12% as opposed to the 30% that the other platform holders like Steam and Windows charge, you know what I mean? Like traditionally, that's what they supposedly charge, right? 30%.
Yes, 30.
Platform, they're only charging 12. And if you use the Unreal Engine or whatever, they're waiving all of those fees as well. That's going to entice a lot of developers and stuff to go and drop their games in there because they're opening it to everyone. It's not just like Unreal Engine games or their stuff, you know what I mean? You can just put your game there if you want, you know. My thing is, though, is it going to offer everything else that we're already used to, or that the PC community is used to in Steam? You know, like the party chat and you know, the whole interface is pretty easy to navigate. You know, those are the things that we got to see if those are going to come to fruition. But this could be big, man, and Epic can absolutely pull this off, and I see them doing it. I definitely see them doing it.
Let me also add something. Let me add something.
Yeah, please go ahead, K-Mega.
To just say, I think it would be really smart if Microsoft would go to Steam and negotiate something, because the Windows Store is dead. Let's just put that out there. It's the truth. Even Phil Spencer alluded to that. Look, that this, like, we got to overhaul this, and it's going to take time. So if there was some kind of negotiation to where Steam and Microsoft could work together and join forces in a way to go to combat all of these other companies that's coming out like that, then I think that would be great. And then maybe as console gamers, we could probably get a Steam app on our consoles, like a long time ago. So I just think that the writing is on the wall that Steam is not going anywhere, but Steam is going to get hit pretty hard, especially if what Knox was saying about the percentage, because these game developers or these publishers, where they see where they could spend the less money, they're going to go there.
Yes.
They will go there. And that's what one thing is, like what Pred said, is that the indie market is what's so strong on Steam. You know what I'm saying? If these companies can grab that indie market, then Steam is in trouble.
Well, the thing with Steam that it has is, one, it has an amazing infrastructure. The way they programmed it, it's almost it almost learns on its own. I've looked at some of the code that they've put on open source, and it's very elegant, and it actually is just extremely impressive. But the thing that Steam doesn't have is that they stopped making games. Valve stopped bringing out those, Left 4 Dead or Portal and stuff like that. They just
Half-Life 3.
I mean, Half-Life, never gonna happen 3. That one too. Like, it's just they would have those, quote unquote exclusives to Steam, and now they don't have that, and that's something that I hope kind of changes because of this pressure because it's not just Epic Games Store, it's Discord also. Discord's having their storefront, and they're starting to do the same thing. Right. And then you look at the Microsoft Store. I don't think Microsoft's going to make a deal with Steam because Steam has made so much money, and it has the user base. Let's be real. It literally probably has the entire PC user base.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, you're right. What about the situation that's going on with Edge and how Microsoft is going away from Edge and going to Chrome now? In next year. So
Chromium, they're going Chromium because nobody uses Internet Explorer or
Edge,
dude.
It's terrible.
Well, yeah, as
a programmer, it doesn't have a lot of tools in there to help you basically program your website or debug it. Like Firefox has a really good tools. Chrome has a lot of great plugins. And I think they need to change that up a little bit because a lot of people at the end of the day, when this is part of what I do for my job, is when I test an Internet Explorer or a Microsoft Edge, website, I'm just kind of like, I'm just like, there you go, just test it, it's great. But everything else has all these tools that makes it so much easier because nobody uses Edge. That's the statistics are there. I've seen them. Nobody uses it, but of course I still need to program a website when I make one to have it. But it's just nobody uses it, and they know that they need to redo a lot of their infrastructure.
There's some things that they just do terribly wrong. That is one of the wrong ones for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, what about Discord then? I mean, look, I know that they have a partnership somewhere where Microsoft is doing something with Discord, but if you say that you don't see the whole Steam situation working out with Microsoft, what about with Discord? Because that's, to me, that Microsoft has to do something because the Microsoft Store is not going to work. They have to just get rid of it, or they got to overhaul it to that probably might take it years before they get it right. So you would think that the best way, the easiest way for them is to try to get with somebody who's already established, since people having a store on the PC side.
Don't underestimate Microsoft's software capabilities. And this is exactly what this is. This is software capability. And they need to revamp that store and give it a completely different UI overhaul, user interface, make it look a lot better. But also they need to program it in a way that it's simple and quick, because right now it's just not. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And they know that. And they know that because a lot of people used it for the games, right? That's what it was used for. And so they weren't given the budget to be like, what? No, we don't care about that. Just worry about your Xbox for now. Right now it's just no, you can care about anything you want and make sure it's badass when you put it out. And that's something that Phil, like you said, alluded to at XO18. He said, I've heard about the store and I'm personally taking interest in it. I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Real quick, big shout out to Slow-Mo Black Backslap that says, and this is really good because he says Epic is also allowing devs to use Unreal basically for free and is charging less for being on the service over Steam, and that's you said that, and I kind of want to talk about that because when you say, in a quick sentence, 30 to 12, you don't really think of it. You think of football games, right? Someone just got blown out. But when you talk about business, you talk about millions of dollars trading, hands and pockets and accounts. 30% to 12% is a huge drop off.
Yeah, they get to take home. They get to take with them 88%. The revenue goes to them as opposed to 70.
It's pretty big. It's bananas. So I think that is a big deal. But you know what? First, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. First and foremost, I have to say, we broke records today already. We're at 145 people watching live. I have to tell you from the bottom of my heart, that's incredible. I did this show not even realizing I was going to get 2 people listening. So thank you so much. Number 2, if you're enjoying this show, and I'm having an absolute blast. I mean, I'm seeing so many people in the chat that have actually been on the show, and that's dope. Please hit the like button. It does help the show grow. And I just want to continue on with some of the things I thought were amazing, and I want to get the panel's take. First and foremost, the way you open this show with Sean Layton, Phil Spencer, and Reggie walking out on the stage. Dude, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. I had to stop what I was doing, and I stood in front of my TV like that kid that walks past Macy's back in the days looking at all the toys in the glass case. I was blown away. Now, again, what they said was meaningful. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger. I thought it was going to be talked about this in the pregame. But listen, Zolker, what were your feelings when you seen the 3 big come out there?
I thought it was actually kind of cool. It was kind of like, hey, we might be competing with each other, but we can keep it civil.
Yes.
And that was like actually really cool. I really enjoyed that. Seeing Phil out there with them, of course, was really cool. I always like seeing Phil. I really feel like he's a genuine gamer.
Yes.
Out of all the execs I've ever seen. I just feel like he actually plays games. Like he gets really passionate. Like when they were talking about Celeste, he's all, "Oh, it's just such a good game." Like he just doesn't care. Like he's just like, if it's a good game, he loves playing it. So that was really cool. Sean Layton, of course, out there was really cool, and he deserves to be out there. I mean, look at the games that were nominated. Look at the games that won. And, Nintendo coming out there, I was like, oh, that's nice. I'm not a really big Nintendo fan since I was a kid. And then they brought out Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and I was like, you son of a bitch. Damn it. I was like, you son of a bitch. So, yeah, it was really cool. That was just really cool to see for everybody. And, and Phil actually brought that up. He said, Geoff, whatever, the host.
Yeah. Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley. Thank you. I totally forgot his name. Jeff Keighley. They were like, you pushed for that. And, I'm really like, even Phil was like, that was really cool. Thank you for doing that. That really was a cool moment for everybody in the gaming industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. K-Mega, listen, we talked pregame. You thought it was dope. I thought it was dope. I actually, what I really enjoyed about it, because I'm a multi-console owner, Xbox is my first choice where all my third parties are. But I'm always taking pictures and talking about how impressed I am with Sony. Of course, I'm a Nintendo kid from way back in the days. I got my first Nintendo when I was 15. Yeah, I'm a little old, guys, but I've been around these streets for a bit. So when you weren't even born, I was playing Nintendo. But to be honest, to me, it took all of the negativity, the toxicity that we deal with as content creators on YouTube, on Twitter, other social medias, and it took all of that shit and put it in the back trunk, closed it, locked it, and drove off. I thought it was amazing, but what were your takes on it?
Well, when I first saw that, I was like, "Oh, crossplay! They're going to announce games
yes.
crossplay." Like, word! I was excited about it, but I mean, just to see that is just like what I'm pretty sure everybody's going to say on the panel is. It just shows that these companies, they're here for business. They don't hate each other. They're not after each other's throat. They're just competing for consumers' dollars. And matter of fact, a lot of these guys, they know each other personally and are cool. Like, I mean, it was just really cool to see. I said it on Twitter last night, was that, this was what gaming is all about, but it's a shame that social media is not going to change. It's still going to be the same, the same bullshit every time that, every time just all the way, just like I was saying when God of War won, and congratulations to God of War for winning. I mean, there really was no winners except for us, the gamers, because the 2018 was a very solid year.
Best year in a long time, for sure.
Yeah, very. And 2019 is shaping up to be the best I've ever seen in gaming and the most expensive, right?
Yes.
So, but the overall, it's just that it just shows that the gaming market is healthy. Especially console. We in the beginning of this generation, we all was fearing that mobile games was going to take over console gaming. We was hearing this from all different entities out there that was basically saying that, hey, this console gaming is going to be on the downslide. And as we've seen, the PlayStation is taken off, doing almost PlayStation 2 numbers, which is ridiculous to think about. Xbox, even though it's been mostly in third place when it comes to these MPDs and things like that, they're making record profits, and Nintendo is back. So the big three is here, and they're all doing well. And it just comes into this next generation of just showing that, damn, it's going to be awesome. And it's just like what Homeboy said, is that when I seen that Ultimate Alliance 3, hey man, I got to get the Switch in my life. I got to get it. And they were showing the Smash Brothers Ultimate so damn much. I got to cop that, and I'm not even a big Smash fan, but it just shows that gaming is in a really good place. And I'm glad, because just like you, Boom, I'm a root gamer, and I've been doing this for so long, and to see that how much it's thriving is just wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, you know what? Again, as a gamer who support, and I say this all the time, and I'm not tired of saying it. Gaming's expensive, yes, but the consoles have dropped, especially when you look for the deals. If you're a savvy gamer, you could find a way to get everything, right? And I say this with absolute pride. When you support all three consoles, given the opportunity, you win as a gamer, because what that does is completely wipe off the table the console war shit that ruins the gaming industry. Again, it's okay to have a preference. Nothing wrong with that. But to go out of your way to shit on someone else's parade is what ruins it all, and it could be wiped away if you're one of these gamers who's interested in dabbling in everyone's garden, if you will. You know, you buy a Nintendo game for, like what you guys said. I'm going to buy it for Smash, but I'm going to buy for Ultimate Alliance. And who knows? You might play Zelda. You might play Super Mario Odyssey, which is a masterpiece. And the list goes on. And that goes for Sony and Xbox. But Knoxmas, I want to get your opinion on this. What are your takeaways on seeing these three iconic CEOs walk out on stage together like a crew ready to take over the world?
No, that was awesome to see. That was awesome to see. Just like everyone on the panel has already expressed, you know, I mean, just seeing them up there, it kind of just wipes away that whole, hey, you know, stop it with the whole my console's better than yours. Is these guys are sitting here. And they're right next to each other. They're all there to make their bread, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yes.
And who knows? They probably had a couple of drinks after the show and are hanging out chilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, what I did think they were gonna at least mention either like cross-platform progression or cross-platform play, especially the way they led into it, right? Because they're like, oh, you know, the unified, you know, like what they were saying. I can't quote it verbatim right now, but you know, they were kind of leading into that, like them coming together and all of that stuff. So I really thought that that's what they were gonna go into, but
Me too.
They didn't, and you know, it's cool. Hopefully, you know, cross-platform, at least progression. You know, play, I'm not such a but progression I'm with. Like, I would love to like log on to Destiny on my PC, you know, now that I got it for free, you know, and just bring my stuff across, but I can't.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, no doubt about that. Well, real quick, before I get my last few points, big shout out to Cedric H with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much, my brother. Big supporter of the show. He says, good morning to the panel and everyone in the chat. And Aiden Williams with the awesome $5 super chat. Once again, thank you so much. He says, love the show, brother. And gaming has been amazing in the last 2 years, because I think we all know we're multiple game of the years, both in this year and last. Yes, absolutely, no doubt about that. Two other things for me. I mean, I could really spend 2 hours, but there's a lot of topics to get to, and I just want to throw these last two things. For me, the best speech of the night was Sonic Fox 5000. Now, I didn't know who he was. Okay, I don't really follow I don't watch live, you know, gameplay. I'm like an esports dude. But I thought his speech was dope. That was real. That was a real dude standing up there with nerves and just talking craziness. And that kid, I was so happy for him that he won, because he seemed very, very humble about it. thanking people where he came from, which I thought was a big deal. And that was for me one of my favorite moments of the evening. And for me, this blew me away. And I don't know if anyone in the panel is going to agree. Joker from Persona 5 in Smash Brothers. Holy shit! Who saw that happening? Like, wow. So that's that were my takeaways. Real quick, if before I move on to the next topic, I definitely want to get everyone's opinion. Is everyone okay with moving on to the next one? Everyone add anything about Game Awards 2018?
No, I'm good. I know what the next one is, so I'm sitting here like, eh.
Okay. All right. Well, topic 2 for me as a fan of the Cape Crusader, a guy that watched the 60s Batman and used to punch the because when you back in the days, and again, I'm an older gamer, when you did the groceries, they used to come in paper bags. So me and my brother, who of course I was Batman, and he was a young one, so he was Robin. We used to be punching and kicking all the bags that my mother would line up for us as if we were Batman and Robin. Well, new information has dropped. And it's not a rumor on Reset Era. This has some legs to it, and we're going to talk about it. Batman Court of Owls game teased by Warner Brothers Montreal, and I honestly could not be happier. And I think it's high time that the gaming world get another proper Batman. Now, this story I pulled from Screen Rant, and according to the story, there's a good possibility that Montreal WB is working on a new Batman Arkham game that involves the Court of Owls. Now, if you're not familiar with who they are, I'm going to tell you this. They are one badass group of people that in Batman lore have been they're relatively new, and they were brought to light in the New 52, and they're a secret organization that has its hands in pockets pretty much everywhere in Gotham City. Now, why this has legs is a tweet came out from an employee of WB Montreal, and it was a picture of her turning around, pointing, and she was wearing a sweatshirt that had the Court of Owls logo on it. Now, Zolker, I want to go to you on this because I know your hype level is busting through. What are your takeaways on the fact that A, we're going to get a new Batman game, and B, that the Court of Owls is involved?
I hope everybody knows I read a lot of damn comics, and I have to say that Scott Snyder, the guy that wrote the New 52 run on Batman, he created the Court of Owls.
Yes, he did.
And they instantly went to the top of the list as one of the best rogues gallery in Batman.
Yes.
Like, I'm talking Joker level, everything. His run on it was about 9 to 10 issues long, and it was absolutely epic. And I'm going to, bear with me. Everybody's going to make fun of me, but bear with me. This is literally what the Court of Owls is. It says, this is a quote that they have in the book. Beware the Court of Owls that watches all the time, ruling Gotham from a shadow perch behind granite and lime. They watch you at your hearth. They watch you in your bed. Speak not a whispered word of them, or they'll send the talon for your head. That's literally the rhyme that's in the book. And their assassin, who is the Talon, literally will say that as he comes after you to kill you and threaten you. And it's just epic as shit. They look amazing. They're so awesome. And they match Batman in martial arts and everything. So you're going to have and it affects all of Gotham.
It does.
They're
really involved in everything.
Yeah, and they've been around for hundreds of years to the point that they might be older than Gotham City itself. So it's so good, and I really I hope they're making it. I really do. I hope they're making it. I don't care. I just want to see it, and I think it's going to be. I want a movie from it. Like, that's how good this is.
Yeah, dude. Listen, I mean, the DCEU needs a reboot. I don't know what's going to happen with Ben Affleck, but if you reboot that and you start the new DCEU, and it's like the New 52 with a movie on the Court of Owls. Oh my god, dude, crazy. But all I know is this. I think that it's been a long time. We don't know what Rocksteady is working on. I know that a lot of people, and I'm one of them, I really enjoyed Arkham Origins. I thought it was fantastic. It's actually my second favorite behind Arkham City. I liked it better than Asylum, and I liked it better than the last one with the shitty Batmobile. And if they're doing a Court of Owls where that is your main villain, the story is gonna be incredible. K Mega, I want to get your take on this. You're obviously, we talked pre-game once again. You're a big Cap fan. I'm a big Cap fan, but we're big comic fans. As a gamer and as a guy who still is interested in like the MCU and the DCEU, how dope does this sound to have the Court of Owls be the main antagonist, I should say, of the next game?
This sounds awesome. It sounds fantastic. The one thing about it is just like what I think everybody else is going to allude to, is that this should be a movie. And not only that, it should have been like right after Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And introduce Ben Affleck or Bat. Well, I don't know what the little nickname that Ben Affleck gets for whatever being the Batman, but
Batfleck.
Yeah, Batfleck. Yeah, but let him be introduced into that story of the Court of the Owls, and I think that would have just. And then, of course, do Superman 2, and then you could have came out and did Batman v Superman and all the rest of them. It would have been perfect. And you know what I'm saying? You had even Aquaman come out at the time. Let everybody be familiar with these characters personally. And then you kick off Justice League. They went way too fast, way too hard with that. It was too much of a mistake. But for game-wise, I think that, you know, they don't do anything wrong with these Batmans. Of course, yeah, the last Batman, I didn't beat it because I was getting tired of being in that damn
Batmobile.
Yeah, Batmobile. Yeah. And I got it because there was a lot of people that requested it. But again, it's more for me. It's just like this is being basically riding the ship home, because I think after that, there's no question that this has to be probably one of the last Batmans to be made, and then they could probably maybe go to Batman Beyond. I know that I'm going way too far forward.
No, absolutely, dude. Oh my God, that's great. Imagine that.
I mean, because that's. I mean, Batman Beyond is amazing. So this right here, and I'm not, and you know what I'm saying, and I know that you know, the guest panel that reads a lot of comics, Zonker, he's going to kill me for this, but I really didn't know too much about the Court of Owls until I read about it. Like, who the hell are these dudes? Like, wow. So
they are no joke, dude. I mean, they match him.
Yes,
they match him
all
blow for blow.
Like, yeah, they are dope. Like, so it's like having this deep organization. And also the one thing about DC that I think a lot of people discredit over Marvel, DC has the best villains.
They do.
Than Marvel, hands down.
They do have great villains.
Just on Batman alone, that Batman's villains are just insane. Like, he's just got so many different. He got supernatural. He has regular people, but it's just like Gotham is insane. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to live there. I don't want to live in Gotham. Hell with that.
There's only one superhero that competes with him in Marvel, and that's Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery is just as big.
Spider-Man's is just as big, and that's something that was big during the New 52, is that they relaunched DC. That's what New 52 was, is they wanted to restart like basically the whole universe. And they brought Scott Snyder on to write it because he had that great idea, and he ended up staying on Batman solely for like, I don't know, what was it, like 5-6 years?
I think it was 6 years, dude. Yes.
Yeah, and he killed it, man. Every single story. The Court of Owls isn't just all he did. He did like 2 Joker stories that were amazing. He did the origin story of Batman that was one of the best stories I've ever read. He killed it, man. He has a great voice for every character within Gotham.
It's looking amazing. Like I said, I'm reading through it now and learning more about them, and I'm just like, man, this should have been a movie by far. And this going to a video game, it goes to also the Batman Origins, which was, the story was fantastic on Batman Origins. I know a lot of people don't really talk about it. I loved it. So this is just, they know how to work this, and I think that everybody has to give them kudos because they're the ones that really propelled these superhero games to go to the next level to where they are, where we see the Spider-Mans and things like that. People are taking these superhero games seriously. So yeah, no, kudos. I would love for that to happen. I can't wait to play it. Day one buy for me.
Oh, absolutely. Now, listen, Pred, I want to get to your take on this because you obviously you're a gamer just as much as any of us. There was a story that I did on one of my Breakfast of Booms a couple of months ago where there was information about the Bat family, meaning that in the next game you were going to be able to have the hub in the Bat Cave, and you're going to have Batwoman, you're going to have Robin, Nightwing, and I believe what's the one that kills everybody? Oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing a blank here. The Red Hood. Red Hood was one of them. This is starting to line up. The stars are starting to line up for me as a fan because the Bat family were heavily involved in the Court of Owls. Zolko, you could back me up on that. And being, oh my god, I just think about that for a second, Pred. All of the having not just Batman, but the entire arsenal of the Bat family go up against the Court of Owls in a freaking game. What are your takes on that? Pred, you there, brother?
Oh, me or Pred?
Pred.
Sorry, my mic was muted. I was coughing earlier, but I'm not a huge comic book guy, so like y'all speaking foreign languages to me right now. I stopped. I've never really been into comics and stuff like that. Like the last Batman I played was like the Arkham series, and I'm just never, even Spider-Man I couldn't get into. I just cannot get into those. I didn't grow up with them, So
okay,
like, no, that you guys have with it, y'all can sit here and discuss everything. I was probably playing football and get my ass beat too.
I love it.
Yeah, so I missed the whole comic book genre. I have 2 comic books in my house right now. The first and second edition of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that's it.
I mean, that's not bad, man.
Dude, that's status.
I bought them
right
back
there.
in like the 80s, and I still have them. But other than that, man, that's the only comics I can remember buying.
All right, listen, that's perfect. That's perfectly fine. Noximus, I want to get to you on this. Listen, you're obviously, you're an old school Transformer dude. So I mean, you have some sort of an alliance to comics. The fact that we're going to get a new Batman, I think, it's a big deal on itself. But if you add into the mix Court of Owls, you sprinkle in the Bat family, you have an early potential game of the year in whatever year it releases. What are your takeaways from this, Knox?
No, man, yeah, this is awesome, man. Batman is probably my favorite hero. I'm sorry if you hear any noise in the background, but
no, don't even sweat it, dude.
But I'm more of a villains guy. I'm more of a Megatron, Magneto, the Beyonder type of guy. But Batman is my man. He's my favorite hero out of all of them. I said, given enough time, Batman could be anyone because he can. And having the Court of Owls as the villain, as the main antagonist, that's awesome, man. That's like the Illuminati of Gotham right there.
Yes, sir.
And you can make multiple games, with that. You're just keeping that going. You know what I mean? And like you said, if you bring the Bat family in there too, that could be awesome. That would be nice, man. Bring them all in there. You could even bring Damian Wayans and the League of Shadows, who are also assassins.
God, dude, it's limitless.
Yeah, man, and that's going to be awesome. My question is though, what type of game will it be? Because I mean, you can't do we are evacuating Gotham City again. You like
no, they said in this original leak that Gotham was going to be a living, breathing, working environment. Cars driving, people walking, robberies taking place. Where a la the new Spider-Man, you have to save people from a robbery or stop
But open world or more
yes,
like the
open world, dude.
That would be that.
Just
that would
talking
be
about this, I just want to play that damn game.
Yeah,
I know.
That would be nuts. And we all know that the Batman Arkham series has the best hand-to-hand fighting system,
hands down,
and none is better. I mean, the only one that got close was Sleeping Dogs, but
I would say Spider-Man was pretty good, man. They tweaked it enough where I felt like I was Spider-Man when I was fighting and using all my abilities.
I'm still waiting for that to hit the budget bin, Zucker. Then I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna pick it up. But no, seriously, I do want it. I do want to play it. But I'm just gonna wait. My wallet is empty, brother. It's Assassin's Creed.
That game was the reason why I bought a PlayStation, man. I got the limited
good reason. Spider-Man's a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm jumping. I haven't, and I haven't played God of War. I'm jumping into that now.
You ain't played God of War yet? Yeah, God of War is great. God of War is great.
You got to play God of War.
God of War is great. I will say this is that look, I mean, I'm a big fan of the League of Assassins. So anybody that's more badass than the League of Assassins, then I got to be all down for it. I'm all for it. I'm reading more of it. I'm like, wow,
because the talent is no joke, bro.
The talent, yes, they are no joke. I'm like, this is insane. Like, I'm getting geeked out already just thinking about these dudes. I didn't even know too much about them. I've heard about it, right? But I didn't know too much about it. So I was just like, wow, this is very impressive. This is
absolutely a movie would be great. A movie featuring the League of Owls,
and it has to be dark. I mean, it has to be dark.
Yeah.
This would be a good sign off to Batman if this is the end game for them for game wise, because it just seems like it's just a perfect fitting for Batman, for all the adversity that he goes through, that this would be the one to pass the torch on to the young Batman. So I mean, to Batman Beyond. So I don't know, man. I don't know. This sounds great though. I'm hyped for this. Yeah, I hope that they are making it.
Well, you know what? Listen, now normally this is a gaming show, right? And we talk about gamings, but comics and books and movies sometimes work their tentacles into the topics. And one popped this morning that I absolutely feel that needs to be spoken about. We got the new Avengers 4 trailer called Avengers Endgame. And obviously that is a serious title for some serious shit that's going on in the MCU. I watched it 4 times before starting this show. Okay, I stopped playing DMC5, the demo, and didn't start ashing because I watched this trailer so much. First of all, Captain America had tears in his eyes.
Talk about it.
That broke my heart because I am a Cap fan through and through. K Mega, I know you're literally chomping at the bit. I'm going to go to you first on this. What were your takeaways on what I think is going to be movie of the generation when it releases next year?
Man, for Thanos to make my boy Cap cry, there needs to be some hell to pay. Anyway, it's funny. Me and Boo was sitting there talking earlier and how I didn't know he was a big Cap fan like me. I got Cap on the wall, got a Cap shield, got Cap pops, got Cap rings, got a Cap everything. I'm capped out, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and then other than Cap is the X-Men. Like those are my jams. But anyway, that was so epic, and it didn't show all that much. But just the music, the darkness, you know what I'm saying? It just, after everybody have seen the movie and you just see this atmosphere, like the Avengers are defeated. It's just so sad. And then all of a sudden you see this badass figure with a sword wiping in between his arms, and you see it's old dude, man. Like, I'm like, what? You really? So he's still there, and then you got Ant-Man that's still there, and then you see that they're over here thinking of a plan, and just everything was perfect. And then especially how it started off with Tony Stark just kind of in a desperation mode, just saying, going, basically telling his old lady, look, I mean, it's, I'm pretty much not going to make it, but I'm thinking about you, saying, just a moment of just clarity. It just is, man, I can't wait for it, man. My old lady I watched it twice. She's over here talking about it with a friends. Like, that's crazy that how she's not into like gaming or anything like that, but she is geeked out over Avengers. So
yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Do you mind if I jump in on this?
Oh, absolutely, Zork. I was going to you next, dude. Let's talk about it.
Yes,
man. So first of all, just seeing he's not Hawkeye anymore, man.
Right,
That's
he's
not Hawkeye.
Ronin.
He's Ronin.
Yeah, that's why they say his name. I forgot what his other name was. I knew it was Hawkeye. Yeah.
When I saw him, the Lost Man Ronin, I was like, "Oh, you fucking movie!" And the Russo brothers showing up at the Game Awards, snapping their fingers, you know,
that was dope. That
was so good. But the whole trailer, I was just like, just everything, just give it to me. I have, theories of what's going to happen, but I'm not going to share it because everybody's going to get tilted. But that, and then they just brought out the Captain Marvel trailer on top of it.
Yes.
And just and then apparently there's a new Spider-Man trailer.
Tomorrow's the Spider-Man tomorrow morning.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay. So
oh my God,
okay.
what the fuck is going on? And Aquaman's right around the corner, but this whole Avengers game, or movie Endgame, it just looks so damn good and everything that we wanted. And to be honest, it's been a while since we've gotten a comic book movie. I feel the itch for another one, and just seeing that trailer, seeing all those characters, and I don't know if you noticed, they kind of just showed the original Avengers, original Avengers from the first movie. Yes, they did. Yes, they're kind of the only ones that survived, if you look at it, and it's just oh man,
yes,
like we lost, like what they did, they lost, and it's just like, what are we gonna do now? And they're keeping this very close to the vest. Like, they're not showing a lot, and they're like, let's just show Ronin, and then everybody's gonna shit themselves, which they did.
Which I did for sure. When I saw him wiping the sword and he totook the hood off, I was like, oh my God, they went there.
Because because it says, like, in the trailer, if you watch how it's cut, it said a lot of us lost family, and then it shows him.
Yeah, he lost his kids and his wife, and it broke him.
Yeah, it broke him. Just like maybe he's in his head, like, I should have been there to fight with them. This could have been different. And it's just like, man, I don't know how hyped you guys are, but man, I think that movie's going to make even more than $2 billion. Like,
I think it's going to make more than $2 billion. But here's the thing: the Russos, in an interview, said right now that the movie is sitting way over 3 hours. They're going to try and cut it to just under 3. So we may get a Lord of the Rings type 3 hour film.
Excellent, bring it.
Yes,
everybody wants this. I think everybody wants this, man. Look, and with the situation with Captain Marvel, I mean, in the scrolls, like, there's just so many tie-ins. Oh my God, I feel you. I
have so much thing, but man, if it's 3 hours long, I don't give a shit. I'll wear a diaper. I ain't going nowhere.
I ain't going nowhere.
I love it.
I ain't going nowhere. I'm watching.
Just like a little kid. Listen, and before you go into the movie.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings that you brought up. When Lord of the Rings 3 launched, I was in high school when the third one came out. I skipped school on a Tuesday and went and watched from 7 a.m. to 1 o'clock at night, or 1 o'clock in the morning, basically like a whole day at the theater. We watched all 3 of them at this event.
Dude,
and
that's awesome.
at this theater that we had, at their biggest theater they had. So we watched both the extended versions of the first 2, and then the third one came up. I didn't sleep a damn wink. I was just sitting there so excited. So
over 9 hours. I think it was like 10 hours. I went to the same event, man.
You did.
I went to the same event out there at well, you're not from the same state I am, but I was out there in Quail Springs Mall. They had this special event where they had all the Lord of the Rings unedited, and we sat there and watched all of it.
Yeah, I did that in my crib, 12 hours.
Yeah,
all the 4-hour extended of the Lord of the Rings. I watched them all in one day.
Well, it was the premiere of the third one, and so they didn't have the extended version of the third one. It was the extendeds of the 1 and 2, and then you got to see the third one right there, and it was crazy how packed it was.
And those were dope, bro. Watching the extended versions, you get the real.
Yeah, lot of stuff cut out, but not
anytime y'all want to end this comic book convention, y'all.
Yeah. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on in a second, Brad. Don't worry. This because we know what you're gonna say. You're like, I don't care about whatever. But you know what? Your opinion counts, even if you're not a fan. But Noximus, I have to get your opinion on this, dude. The Avengers 4 trailer, which we only knew it was Avengers 4, and now we know it's Avengers Endgame. I'm so happy we got the title. In typical Marvel fashion, it starts out crazy serious, and the last 30 seconds is hilarious.
Man.
Yes.
It was. I'm excited for it, bro. I just can't wait to go see it. I'm not sure when it releases. I didn't see anything that like said any date or anything like that. So I think April, right? April.
It's April. It's April 2019. It's the end of April.
Yeah. Nice.
Random thing. I don't think that's the title of the movie. I think they're hiding it.
Really?
Yeah, they've said there's been multiple reports of actors almost saying the title, and they stopped them. And the guy that plays Doctor Strange has like stopped people because he's really
Benedict
good at that.
Cumberbatch. Yes,
Cumberbatch. Yeah. So, and they've said that the title is a spoiler, so they're trying to not basically bring that. So I just think that they're keeping it close to the vest until like the last month it comes out.
I'll tell you this: when Cap is the Cap situation, I might share some tears, man.
I'm nervous.
I'm nervous too. I'm very nervous. I think
Optimus, what you gonna say, brother?
Captain America is like my brother's favorite character of all time. Like I said, I'm Batman. I always make fun of him for that. For being such a freaking like diehard Captain America fan, but the movie it looks dope, bro. I can't wait. I can't wait for it to drop. What I was gonna ask you guys real quick, because I know Pred probably wants to shoot all of us right now, but do you guys think that any of the characters from the Marvel universe, from like the Netflix shows like Daredevil or Punisher, or any of them will make some sort of an appearance?
There was rumors, but they were cut out of the first Avengers because there wasn't enough time to give them, a connection with the other characters. All of those characters are going to be on the streaming service.
The guy that runs the TV services for Marvel does not get along with Kevin Feige at all,
and that's why they fired him. He's fired.
Well, yeah, he's gone, but the movies and the TV, they're basically just look at them as like connected but completely separate universes.
Yeah,
if they're in there,
know it or not, Zolker, is now Kevin Feige is in charge of both.
Oh yeah, because the guy's a freaking he's like this. Like, I'm gonna be honest, he's like this era's Stan Lee.
Yes, he is. Yes, well said.
I'm making a bold prediction. I'm saying that there's going to be an appearance of an X-Man.
Wolverine,
Logan.
Yeah.
Logan.
I think there'll be an appearance of because I think it's going to start it. I think it's going to blend into the Secret Wars some kind of way.
Yes, I agree.
I think it's going to blend into the Secret Wars, and then before they get to the next big, huge, evil protagonist, and I think it'd be the great introduction into bringing in the X-Men into the MCU. And
maybe
so
Charles,
I think,
right? Maybe
Charles. I hate the fact that they're not going to use the actors that's been on these X-Men movies here.
That's confirmed, because I was going to ask that.
Well, I don't know. That's what some people that told me, that they're not going to use those same actors, which I find it to be ridiculous. They should, but I'm going on a limb and saying that that's going to be somebody there.
Yeah. Well, listen. You know what? Before Pred kills us all, like Notch was saying, Pred, do you have anything you want to add to this topic just before we move on to the next one, sir?
I don't know. I think you guys covered it with all your. It was good enough. I'm good.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you're right. It was a bit of a nerdgasm for sure. Well, listen. Topic number 3: rumor, and this is a good one, and I honestly couldn't wait to talk about it. Respawn's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order details have leaked. And this story I pulled from Screen Rant. And over at Star Wars Leaks subreddit, a user known, and I'm not going to say this name, I'm going to spell it. It's XYZSVTABC. Well, according to this poster, he has new information that he obtained after attending the 2019 Star Wars marketing presentation by Disney. And while the post contains plenty of spoilers for other Star Wars projects arriving next year, the presentation also included a segment that featured previously unreleased details for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now, the game supposedly takes place 5 years after Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, and players take control of a former Jedi Padawan who's grown up and who's survived the initial purge of the Order. The main character, who XYZ refers to as Cal in the post, isn't entirely alone during this time and relies on a mentor-like figure named Cirrus. Longtime fans of the franchise should expect to see plenty of cameos from characters in other media, like the Sith Inquisitors last seen in the Star Wars Rebel show. Now, Zolker, I want to go to you on this. First of all, we know what Respawn as a company can do when it comes to story. right? We saw it with Call of Duty. We saw it with Titanfall 2 single player, which was amazing. And now they have this power of the Star Wars franchise under their wing. What are your takeaways from this? And are you stoked to see what this game is going to look like next year?
Yeah, I'm actually extremely excited for this because I feel like EA has dropped the ball a lot with the freaking Star Wars franchise.
Yes,
they've had it for how many years, and they brought out 2 games, and that's it. Like, and they're both Battlefront. I mean, I wanted a single player, kind of a cool story, build on the lore, and that's exactly what they're doing. Saris is actually part of Predator, the Star Wars comics. He's heavily like it's well, I mean, in the Darth Vader miniseries, there's the Darth Vader miniseries comic that's heavily in there. Or I'm sorry, the Sinister is in there. The Ninth Sister is in there, and so I want to see isn't that kind of cool? Like when the Order 66 gets executed and you're on the run,
yes,
and you're just trying to survive as a Jedi and fighting and probably being part of like a rebel, you know, like you're just doing something like that. Just sounds so freaking awesome.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, it does worry me the way they announced it, kind of like just sitting at E3, just like, yeah, it's happening, cool, okay, bye. Like,
yeah, that was a moment in time that probably should have never happened. That's one of those awkward moments that you look back and you kind of you make that face like, yeah, you know, that kind of face that we see the gif of. Don't do things like that. This is too important of a topic and a game to just kind of nonchalant. Oh, by the way, it's happening, Johnny. Go next to you. Go.
Yeah, and and I'm looking. You know, EA. You know, it says the game is apparently launching in November.
Yes,
2019.
the end of next year. Yes,
the end of next year. So, I mean, EA has done that where they don't show their games until E3, and then it comes out November. And you know, Bethesda has done that also. But I just, you know, I'm excited, but I'm tempering expectations because I don't know what EA is going to do with it. And I feel like they might have announced it at E3 last year to temper the hate that they were getting for Star Wars. And I think they got some pressure from Disney, to be honest. I think Disney was kind of like, you're taking this franchise and you're kind of shitting the bed with it. And we've have billions of dollars on the line here because that's what this is, right? This is billions of dollars because Star Wars is a world-renowned, it's a global scale phenomenon. And they're not hitting the mark with the games. That's it. They're just not. And, you know, Battlefront 2, I just got on EA Access. You know, I'm probably going to play it and enjoy it a little bit. But something like this.
Gorgeous game, dude. Looks phenomenal.
I just want a game. I'll be honest. I want a game where I'm just Darth Vader and I'm just fucking shit up for like 7 years. Like I just want something like that. Like,
I love it.
Like, that's all I want.
But with actual moves, not like that.
Yeah,
not that clunky swinging that Battlefront does. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
I want Assassin's Creed Odyssey movements, bro, with Star Wars characters with lightsabers, shit like that, bro.
Yeah, I want that too.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, but like make me feel like Darth Vader deserves to be the most feared villain in Star Wars history.
Yes,
like,
yes,
something like that. Give me something like that, and I will be happy. But you know what? I guarantee he's going to be in it, obviously, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what happens, and it's probably, you know, let's be real here, people. It's probably not going to end well for your character.
No, probably not. But K-Meg, I want to get to you on this. What are your takeaways on the fact that you know, we know what Respawn has done. They have the qualifications, if you will, when it comes to putting a story together. They did it. They created this incredible world of Call of Duty, right? They left on bad terms. They started Respawn Entertainment. They started Titanfall 2. One of the biggest complaints with the first one, it had no single player. If no one has played the single player, I highly recommend you try it. It is absolutely amazing. Titanfall 2 is on EA Access. But the fact that they have the power of the Star Wars license and they're going to be making these original, incredible story, what are you excited for this title?
Yeah, it sounds really dope. I think that a lot of people are sleeping on Battlefront 2 story. I thought that the story was amazing. I love the protagonist. She was. It was dope. Of course, the game was beautiful. It looked amazing, but the story was impactful, especially how it tied in everything with Luke Skywalker, all that. And then what her role was from where she started into how she ended, and then the extra DLC that came with it that furthered the story even more. And she was older and things like that. I really loved it. I thought it was great. But of course, EA they screwed everybody over and they killed the game.
Yes.
Yeah, they killed the game. But as for this, it sounds really interesting. Sounds promising. I mean, you can't go wrong with what Respawn has done. I mean, like you said, with the CODs, and then what they did with Titanfall 2. That story was actually really good. It was a little slow at first, but then once you got into it deeper, then it became out to be an excellent story. So I'm stoked for it. So yeah, let's see. But I am with Noximus. I kind of want to get back to the Knights of the Old Republic style, you know what I'm saying, or maybe a little hack and slash, little RPG, like action RPG type of style, so we can see some things like that. But yeah, this sounds promising. This does sound promising.
Nice. Noximus, I want to go to you, dude, because I know you were talking about it. You sound excited about the game. Or what are your expectations for what Respawn can do in storytelling and having Star Wars to talk about?
No, I mean that would be awesome. Like that's what I would want, right? I would want like a very detailed story, almost Witcher-esque. You know what I mean? With like maybe some God of War or Assassin's Creed style fighting. You know what I mean? Like a very well thought out fighting system, not just one of those, you wave your sword up and down and kill stuff. Nah, man, like really fleshed out, the mechanics are just taken care of and implement it well in the game. It could be dope, man. I mean, I haven't seen Respawn make a game like this, right? Because they do shooters. That's their thing, right? So,
right.
Hopefully they can pull it off. Let's see what they can do. Just because they do shooters doesn't mean they can't do a nice, action RPG or something to that effect. But I really do hope that they do something, because like Mega said, right? I bought Battlefront. Like I said, I'm very pro the antagonist, right? So I was excited to play this from the Empire's perspective, and the game's beautiful. The story was actually engrossing me somewhat, but then the mechanics of the game, I couldn't play it anymore. It's just something with dice. It's a me problem. It is a me problem, but I don't feel comfortable with the way that their guns function in Star Wars and stuff like that. So that's why I stopped playing it. But I would have liked to see that story through to the end, and I hope that they do something excellent with the Star Wars franchise, because it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time is Star Wars, and I would love to see a great game. I haven't. The last one I played was Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that was the last great one,
and I loved it. BioWare, the story that they did, man. My Sith is a beast. Oh man, it was awesome. I would like to see that again.
Nice. Now, Predator, I don't know whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, but I have to go to you're a panel member, and your opinion counts. What are your takeaways on this? Do you want to comment, or do you want to move on to the next topic?
No, I'm a lightweight Star Wars fan.
Okay, good, excellent.
So I'm looking forward to something better than what they've done with Battlefront and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yes,
I'd rather have I played Knights of the Old Republic back in the day, and I loved it. But I really haven't had anything similar to that since then that I enjoyed in the Star Wars franchise. That's just my opinion. So I would like for them to go back to an RPG style, Star Wars universe. I mean, there's a lot of shit you can do with that. I mean, but it's got to be done right. And with EA, they can seriously fuck this up over and over again. So it kind of makes me a little hesitant. I think, honestly, if I could take this franchise away from EA, I'd give it to Ubisoft and let them do it. Kind of sort of like what they did with Assassin's Creed and stuff like that.
Dude, that'd be epic. That really would. I mean, I have a big open world with a fast-moving character. I mean, think about it. Instead of using swords, you're using lightsabers. Come on, dude, sign me right up. I'll take two.
Yeah.
But listen, if no one else has anything to add to this, I want to move on to the next topic, and this one is actually not a surprise. GameStop is reporting a $488 million loss in the third quarter, and to say we didn't see this coming would be a little bit of an understatement, in my opinion. Physical game sales have been on the decline for quite some time, and obviously there's a transition that's going on that's much broader than people give it credit for. Digital is becoming a much bigger deal. People aren't. I mean, listen, there are plenty of people in the circles that we run in that buy disc games, but most of us have transitioned into digital sales. It's easier to buy. It's easier to load up your game. It's easier to switch games. No more disc. Literally, you don't have to get off the couch. Well, according to this article that I pulled from comicbook.com, GameStop has been struggling to keep up with the market shift for quite some time, and it seems as if the company will continue to do so, as it reported a $488 million loss in the third quarter, despite solid growth from hardware sales. And according to this report, there's been a decline in pre-owned sales that hit just under 14%. Now, pre-owned sales is obviously where their bread and butter is. I mean, if you ever gone to GameStop to trade something in, there's two things you walk out with. One, you walk out with lumps because they just clobbered you and they gave you 16 cents for your 9 games. And the other one is you feel you're taking one game for the 9 you traded in and you just paid them $59.72. So you definitely feel ripped off. But you know what's crazy about this? According to this report, the group reported a 73% growth year-over-year sales, and that was obviously thanks to the behemoth like Black Ops 4 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Now I'm going to start hitting up the panel members for this. Zolker, I want to go to you on this. Is this? I mean, listen, we know that the sign of the times, or the writing on the wall, if you will, is there. But does a loss like this really kind of start to put the nails in the coffin for GameStop as a company?
I think it's starting to. I think we're going to see changes within the company. I think they're going to they've already had that. They have toys now. They have a bunch of stuff that they're trying to sell. But I haven't bought anything from GameStop in, Jesus, I don't know, years, to be honest. I don't go real physical. I try to stay digital. I enjoy digital a lot more. I get that, midnight release doesn't mean midnight release, stay in the store, then download the midnight thing and then play in the morning. It means, hey, I'm going to play at fucking midnight.
Right.
So that's kind of what I look forward to. GameStop, I just think that they have a lot of anti-consumer practices that have kind of starting to bite them in the ass. So this was writing on the wall for quite some time. Once, to be honest, this started once PC got rid of physical. Do you know anybody that has bought a PC physical disc?
No.
I haven't known anybody that's done that in the last 10 years. And so once that started happening, it was just a matter of time before it came over. And it almost came over here during this generation. Xbox kind of tried doing it. And people, up in arms, Xbox is the worst. And it's, now look at it. It's, it's going to be physical. You can share. I game share with my buddy. We buy one copy and that's it. So, yeah, I think this is something that the writing was on the wall, and it's just a matter of time. I give it about 8 years more until it's basically going to be gone.
Yeah, I think 8 years might even be too long. It might be gone in 5 at this rate, because a triple digit loss that much in the third quarter. That's really telling. But Meg, I want to go to you next on this, dude. Obviously, the company gets a lot of shade, and rightfully so. They do have a lot of anti-consumer practices. Their buyouts, when it comes to used games, or their buybacks, when it comes to used games, is horrendous. They don't offer, back in the days, you'd be like, okay, I want to trade these 2 games in for God of War that's coming out. Okay, well, when you do that, you get an extra 40% plus your 20, and you walked away like, okay, yeah, I don't have to pay like $10 for God of War. I got rid of these 2 games I beat, and you felt like you won something. Now, not so much. And I think it's really, like Zorka said, coming back to hurt them. What are your takeaways on how long they have left in the game?
Well, they bet against innovation and they lost.
Yes.
That's just the bottom line. I think that gamers, there are a lot of us that are old school and like to think of the old traditional way of things will never change or will never leave. But just like with anything else, you can't complain about digital sales, but then go buy digital music. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. And what the practices of what GameStop has been for so many years, they preyed on the misinformed.
Yes,
and so I was one of them. There's so many games that I owned just last generation alone that I've traded in thinking that I won because I got maybe 1 or 2 other new titles. You know what I'm saying? And then I restocked on my games again and did the same thing all over again. And now, since we have backwards compatibility, I've missed out on a lot of these games, and I have to rebuy them because I didn't have them already stored. So it just comes to show that you keep what you have, and they just, like I said, there were predatory practices in a sense on Mr. Foreman. So I'm glad for the one fact that they went against what Microsoft was trying to do, and Microsoft is the one laughing at the end of the day because everybody is enjoying these services with Game Pass. They're also enjoying the same. PlayStation is coming along with this as well. I only have one physical copy of a PlayStation game. That's Uncharted 4 that came with the Slim. That's it. All the rest of like the 100 games that I got on the PS4, it's all digital. My Xbox, all digital except for some of the older games that I did have from previous that I didn't trade in. So it's sad. The writing is on the wall. I think that they're trying to sell. And I think that there's some buyers that out there that might want to wait until they're almost nothing and then try to reinvent them into be something else. Kind of like something that I was said about this place that's close to me called DC Comics, making into a hub of just everything put in with comics and toys and you can play card games, have gaming events. That's what GameStop needs to be now, because the old way of what it is, it's dead. It's gone. It's over.
Well, they actually, it's funny you say that, because if you remember back in the days, like I don't know how many people listening that they grew up in the Bronx, but there used to be a place in Yonkers called Dragon's Den. And it's where I did a lot of shopping when I was a kid, right? And of course, they got the games first. You paid a little bit more. The guy Gary was a bit of a scumbag when it came to that, but they always had everything. And as the times changed, they went from strictly comics and D&D, where they went to card games and they went to video games, and you saw the transition where they had a little bit of everything, whereas now it looks like GameStop is going to have to do a reverse order of that and go from all games, like we're seeing, like Zorka was saying about, they have toys and they have, all shirts, and they're going to eventually have to move in a different direction to keep relevant. Predator, I want to get your take on this, because you're a business guy, like you're a numbers dude. As an investor of a company, let's say, for instance, you were an investor of GameStop and you saw this ridiculous loss, would you say the writing is on the wall for the company either to have to make a big move or just go out of business?
I've been watching, we've talked about this before on the next podcast, and at length a couple of times, and at the beginning of the generation, their stock was like about $50 a share. Yes. It's down to like 14.
And
it's been continually declining since this generation started. And like some of the stuff you guys have said, they have to reinvent themselves. It's like I went to the mall this weekend to like one of those little geek stores that has like the little pop cap things and stuff like that. And that's what they're going to have to become, that geek store. And you'll start noticing trends. Like, I posted something earlier this week about how they were saying that they might, be thinking about selling the company, et cetera, et cetera. Start looking for those trends. They start closing stores. That's your sign right there.
Yeah.
Going to happen, because they have too many stores as it is.
Somebody said in the chat that I think it was Mr. Kima said that they're going to start closing stores right after the holidays.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, okay.
I've said that before. Like once they start closing stores, you'll know that the shit has hit the fan, because they got to save money somehow. And they have stores, like just in my area alone, there's about 3 within about a 5-mile radius.
Wow.
So
okay.
Close them down. Plus, there's like 2 malls near here, so like I'm sure there's a couple in there as well. So keep a couple of mall stores open, and maybe one in each neighborhood or something like that. Or what did we say? Like have it like like tied into like Dave and Buster's or something like that. Have another company kind of help them out and put them in strategic locations. But if I was an investor, I would have got out of this maybe about 2-3 years ago.
And you would have been rich, and you would have been laughing.
Once Back and Pat started becoming a thing, and it took off, that would have been the time for me to get the fuck out of this. So, you'll see the trends developing. But like, I can't understand how they're so stubborn when it comes to this. Like, like they're still. I mean, I get they're a company. They want to fight, and this isn't the first time they've had like $50 a share drop all the way down. It happened like in 2007, and they were at really high stock, and then everything was dropped down and fell under itself, and they recovered to 2013 when they're back at $50 a share again. But I mean, they could recover, but they're going to have to make some strategic moves on their part to kind of get out of this hole. They're going to start digging themselves in if they continue the trend they have right now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And Noximus, I want to get what's your take on this. Obviously, everyone on the panel is in agreement that GameStop is literally hanging on the edge of madness and bankruptcy by the tips of their fingers. And unless some massive change happens, they're gonna be another one that's gonna suffer due to technology. And when I talk about technology, I mean, like, you take a guy like me. Like, I have 14 terabytes hooked up to my Xbox One with over 800 games. And that's not counting all my physical stuff I have in storage. And I would not buy a game from GameStop unless it's like a collector's edition where I can't get it anywhere else. Do you think that this company is eventually going to be on the outs?
Yeah, I do. I think they are, but it not necessarily because because the industry's moving forward with them. Like I went all digital. That's just me, right? And I guess the majority of you guys on the panel as well, right? But I don't think it's so much that. I think it's their shady practices and their dirty dealings and their lack of customer service. Those are the things that are really like putting that nail in the coffin. You know what I mean? Because if you went there and you knew you can buy a game, right? And later on you bring it in and they maybe give you, like, let's say even $30, right? Even half or 25. No, but they come on, they insult you. You walk out the door with a brand new game. Come next week, hey, I beat it, man. I'm gonna sell this and put it towards another one. All right, man, we'll give you like 79 cents and 2 Indian head pennies, and it's that. Also, like I said, like the employees look like they aren't, like they don't even want to be at work. And I would hate to see anyone be out of work with them closing their doors. But I mean, to save GameStop, they would have to change their name. They would have to reinvent themselves. I mean, you have to become technically a whole new outlet, a whole new chain. So
yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I mean, a lot of people don't know this. I mean, I worked for Funcoland back in the days. I don't know if you people know what I'm talking about.
They became GameSpot.
Yeah,
They became GameSpot. We had one down the street from my house.
Yes, they were. That was way back in the days before my police officer. There was a manager. I had my own store. I was a punk kid. Didn't even know what the hell I was doing. But I know I loved games.
Toy store too.
Yeah. Yes. So
they were better as Funcoland though.
They really were. They really were. But listen, everyone had fantastic points. I want to move on to the next topic, and it's a good one. I want to get everyone's take on it. In a story that I pulled from GameSpot, Resident Evil 2's remake, which I thought we were going to get a demo announcement at the VGAs last night. There's been rumors on subreddit and that we were going to get one mid-December, so it still might come. The game is around the corner. January 26th, this game is going to rule the world. It's going to take over my life. I have the collector's edition. Yes, the one that comes with the 12-inch doll. I'm not going to say I'm going to play with the doll, but I will be displaying it on my shelf. According to the story from GameSpot, Capcom is really making clever changes when it comes to a game that's technically a remake. And according to the story, there's nothing scary about familiar. And I agree. I beat Resident Evil 2 probably 20 times across multiple platforms. It's my favorite game of all time. And when I saw they were going to make this, I kind of held my breath because I'm like, they're never going to make this. There's just no way that Capcom's going to do it. And what we've seen since E3, my God, has me so hyped for this game. It's one of my most anticipated games in 2019. But we know that Resident Evil 2 is a beloved survival horror title. And if you're anything like me, you have walked the halls of Raccoon's police department enough times to basically call it home. I know every nook, every cranny. I know where every herb is. I know everything. I know where the liquor is. I know where Zombie's going to be staying in a corner and you can't see him. I know when Mr. X is going to break through the wall and make me shit my pants. So it's not scary anymore. So I'm really happy to know that they're really taking this really serious. And for me personally, 2019 cannot come quick enough. And I like I said, I'm going to say this now live on the air. I probably said it numerous times, but I'm going to say it again into this panel. Resident Evil 2, the remake, is my game of the year 2019. I called it. End of story. Zolker, I want to get to you on this, dude. Resident Evil 2, it's listen, when you say Capcom, there are certain titles that when you say the name, you think of it, and Resident Evil 2 is one of them. First of all, are you happy to know that they're making it and that they're going to change it up just enough where you're going to be scared to play the game?
You know, this is actually a game I'm not looking forward to, Boom.
Whoa, okay.
And I beat the game when I was really young, and I enjoyed it, but it's just Capcom hasn't really given me a lot of stuff that I've been like, wow, I need to keep playing. You know, a lot of people loved Monster Hunter World. I absolutely just hated the game. I thought it was very boring. I got a refund for it actually digitally from Microsoft because I was like, I don't want to play this.
Okay, that's
you know, and you know, I hate being negative about it, but you know, Resident Evil 2 just hasn't really resonated with me, and I think the zombie genre is kind of getting outplayed. I think there's
a little long in the tooth. You think
it is? I mean, I love Walking Dead. I really do, and I watch it and I enjoy it. I've played State of Decay 2. I just played State of Decay 2 like 2 days ago with Dealer, and we were like, you know, having a good time and running over each other. It was hilarious, but. You know, and then Days Gone is coming out. I just feel like there's a lot of games that are just very fit that genre. And I know people love the game, like they adore it. And it's because it was so revolutionary when it came out. And so, you know, like Mooch says, nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
Yes.
And I think people are going to enjoy it. And I'm glad you're going to enjoy it because I know you're going to, because it's a game that resonates with your childhood.
Yeah,
and or not childhood or whatever you were.
Yeah. I was a little older, but yeah, go ahead. I got you.
Yeah, but
I was actually a police officer at the time, and so it resonated even more because I was playing a police officer.
A bunch of people in the chat #Zolker, you're fired. Hey man, Crispy Smooth is gonna give it to you true.
Yes, right? Crispy Smooth in the house.
I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm never gonna lie, and it's just a game that I'm not gonna get. Dude, I know my buddy will, and we'll probably play it together. I'll be real. It'll probably be like old school, sitting together at his house on the couch, co-oping it, like, you know, just handing the controllers over. And that's kind of how we're gonna play it. But it's not a game that I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to play. So, you know, I want to, you know, let's go to more positive people.
No, listen. Everyone's opinion is important. Even when you don't want to speak about a comic, topic, Predator. Listen. It's a conversational podcast. That's what I love about doing it. Everyone's opinion is different. But K Mega, I want to get your opinion on this. The hype level for me, obviously, is coming through the mic and it's drowning everyone. But I want to get your opinion on this. Resident Evil 2 is 6 weeks away, right? Give or take. And as excited as I am for Christmas, I wanted to come and go, get the new year over with, and let's get to Resident Evil 2. But what are your takes on this? Are you happy that it's coming out? And more so, are you excited that it's gonna be the Resident Evil that you remember, but not so much?
I think a lot of people for me, I'm kind of in between. I loved 2. I thought it was great. But I think a lot of people will start to take back the words of saying, well, I'm tired of remasters, because this is what a remaster should look like. It
Absolutely
looks amazing. Yes. And it makes me more excited for other companies to try to, if they're going to bring back their older games, have them up to date to look like that. So it looks dope. It's not going to be a day one buy for me, because there's just so many other games, like, Jump Force, Dead or Alive 6, tons others. So how many just go like that?
Yeah. There's only really so much money to go around.
Right. Metro, all of that. So it's for me, it's got to be something that I have to get later down the line. But man, yeah, it looks crazy. I was watching a clip of the big dude walking through.
Yeah, Mr. X.
Yeah, Mr. X walking through and pushing another zombie out the way. Like, no, let me get at this chick. I got this. Like, bruh. And just recently, I bought Resident Evil 7 not too long ago, and so me and the old lady was playing. Well, she was watching me, and because she's been wanting me to get it, because I haven't played a scary game in a long time.
That game is great, dude.
That game is intense, and I played about a good 2 hours. Well, yeah, about 2 hours of it, and I put it back, and I ain't going back to it, Jack. I think I want to, when I get my computer back running, where I can stream properly. I think I might stream it so people can hear me scream like a bitch, because it was. Ah! What? Jesus. So yeah, no. So this looks like it looks very intense. It looks like it got the good scare factor. So like I said, I would love to play it. It's just not a day one buy for me when there's so many other games that I got my eye on. But yeah, I'm stoked that they're bringing remakes and making them actually look like remakes, not like with that trash that they brought at the beginning of the generation.
Yeah, I agree. Don't kind of just smear some paint over it and say that you got me a new house. You know what I'm saying? Get me a new house. And I actually agree with you. Pred, I want to get your take on this. Resident Evil fan, yes or no?
No, not really, but I'm actually interested in this game. I'm with Mega. It's not a day one for me. I'll follow it and see what happens with it.
Right.
I'm honestly, I don't typically go back and play old games like that.
Okay.
Remaster. There's a few, and I've always said this. Like, there's even with back and pat titles, there's a few you want, but you probably never played. There's like 5 that everybody wants, and then the rest of them are just like, thanks. But and I got my 5. I got my Ghost Recon. I got my Ninja Gaiden. I got my Splinter Cell. I'm good. But this is a full remaster. It looks amazing. It looks completely different than what the original game did, and that's what I'm interested in. That's what makes it so interesting to me. If they would have just reskinned it, like you said, just put a house in the corner or something, and be like, oh, we upgraded everything, I would be not even talking about this. But
right. No, this is really done from the ground up, man. They really went in deep on this one.
So I'll play it. Or I'll watch K Mega play it and scream like a little bitch. And
I love it. I love it. All right, that's cool. Well, listen, Zolkar, I got your opinion on this, and we know how that is, and that's fine. Listen, it's not. It may not be. You know what? You could be surprised, right? It could surprise you. But Noximus, I want to get your opinion. See, for me, I'm very happy that Capcom is not ruining the lore of the classic Resident Evil 2, but at the same time, it's changing things up to keep players that are familiar with the franchise, like myself, on their toes. What are your expectations for Resident Evil 2, the remake, and is it a day one buy for you?
Day one buy? Probably not.
Okay.
But that I'm going to definitely buy it? Absolutely. And that they're switching stuff up is awesome, because I beat that freaking game every which way but loose. So I want some new stuff to do. It looks fantastic too, man. Like the little bit I saw, because I don't want to spoil it for myself, so I don't want to see too much. But watching Mr. X there chasing people around, it looks amazing. It looks like it's going to be great. I loved 7. I really did like that first person view. I see that this one is going back to like the third person view.
Yes.
Yeah, as long, because what people don't understand about 7 is that 7 controls exactly like the other games, exactly like 1.
It does.
Only
first person.
Only because it's in first person, it's much better suited to that. Those tank controls. So it was great. I hope that it looks like it's going to be just as good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, listen, this has been one of the best shows I've done in a long time. I've been doing this for a bit, and I cannot thank the panel enough. Everyone got up early, was hanging out, had their 8 cups of coffee. You guys killed every topic. I want to thank the chat once again. I want to repeat that, I got a really nice compliment the other day, and it really means a lot to me as a content creator that apparently my chats are some of the friendliest in the business. And that does mean a lot to me, because I want you to come to the show. I want you to listen for 2 hours, and I want you to hang out with other gamers and talk. Regardless of what flag you fly, we can all be civil and be nice with one another. And that's really important to me. That's, community for me as a content creator is paramount. And I could not do this show without the community. Your support has been undying. I really thank all of the donations through Super Chat that came in today. It is greatly appreciated. I have to give a big shout out to UK Dazarus, who is the sheriff in the chat. He actually is one of the main reasons probably that the scumbags stay away, because he bounces people in a second, and I do really appreciate that. But let's get to the outros. Now, Zolkar, listen, you've been on the show before. We've talked privately. I've worked with you in the past. I think that you're one of the newer talents in 2018 that everyone should be watching. You have a great sense of the industry. I think you bring a tremendous amount of talent to the table with RDX. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter and sub your amazing YouTube channel.
Would you look at that? That is some kind words. Thank you so much, Boom. I really do appreciate it. I do put a lot of time into my content.
You can tell. You can tell you put the work in, dude. Definitely.
Well, because I enjoy it. You know, it's just a lot of fun to make videos. It's a lot of fun to talk about this industry that we all freaking love. And you guys can find me at Zalker87 on Twitter, and then on YouTube, Zalker87. Look me up, hit that sub button. It really does mean a lot to me because, you know, I am pretty new and, you know, I'm a noob on YouTube. But I've been having fun. A lot of the people in the community have basically, you know, taught me a lot of stuff, put me under their wing. They've been really cool, you know, especially, you know, and I have to give a shout out, you know, Dealer.
Good dude.
He's been, you know, such a good friend. Me and him almost talk every day. Actually, we do talk every day, and we play games all the damn time. We have a great time. Same with Shady and all the guys from RDX and Boom.
Great, everyone.
You're one of the biggest class acts in the community, man. Honestly, thank you for having me on.
Oh, I appreciate that. That really does mean a lot to me. Like I said, this is how I was in my professional life. This is how I am in my private life. What you see is what you get, and I do have a love for everyone I come across. So thanks for that. That's really nice of you to say.
Yeah, and Adrian Williams, I do love AC Odyssey, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I was the one that was telling Dealer, hey, don't sleep on this game. And when he played it, his mind was blown. Okay, it's Ubisoft. Don't bet against them. They might have had their trip ups, but like for the last year and a half, they've been killing it.
Yes, they have.
I think Boom can attest to that.
I certainly can. It's my personal game of the year. K Mega, listen, dude. GRG is amazing. You put a great show together after Crossfire on Friday nights. You're gonna have me on as a guest next Friday, which I cannot wait because I think it's my first time on the show. You bring a tremendous amount of talent and, you know, funniness. Like you're almost like a stand-up comedian on the next podcast. I do love what you do. I think that you're an important part of this community. Where can people follow you on Twitter and, more importantly, subscribe to your amazing YouTube channel?
Yeah, man, appreciate the kind words. Will have to be not next week, but the week after because
okay,
I have to go to an engagement.
Okay, we'll work it out through DM.
But yeah, we'll work it out through DM. Yeah, don't trouble. But yeah, but it's going to be great to have you on. But also, man, yeah, you can check me out on my channel, the K Mega 405. I'm on Twitter a lot, so. I'm always getting heckled, or I'm doing some heckling myself.
No. You do it the right way. People come at you strong, and you politely give them the business. I like the way you handle it.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no need to get ignorant about video games. I mean, we're all
right. They're just toys at the end of the day.
Yeah, we're all. You know, my grandfather used to call them electronic boxes. You know what I'm saying? And I loved them then. I love them now, and I don't have any animosity or hate towards anybody, man. We're all into this together. I mean, we're talking about video games. There's no need for any type of fake drama or beef, anything like that. So that's the motto I'm always going to keep. And I appreciate to have the panel, you know what I'm saying, that we have today. Because, I mean, look, it was my first time working with Zonker, you know what I'm saying? It was really fun. Of course, these other bums here, I got to see them tomorrow. Jesus, it seems like they never go away. Anyway, but no, man, it's appreciative to be my second time here, man. It's always fun. The chat was lit, and man, check me out on the GRG podcast tonight.
Yes,
fire.
Absolutely. You. Now, Predator, you've obviously been on my show over a dozen times. I love having you on. You have a sense of humor that may be dry, but at the same time, you're a good dude to talk with when it comes to gaming. You're very sensible. You're a numbers guy. You come from a very strong military background, which, of course, I appreciate. But more importantly, I do think you bring the goodness to whatever panel you're on. And obviously, it was an honor to have you on today's show. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter. And more importantly, subscribe to your YouTube channel.
Yo, man, thank you for having me on again. Even though you did bring K Mega this time, I'll let you, I'll let that slide. Predator _H2OS on Xbox Live, on PlayStation, on Twitter, on everything pretty much. So add me. I'll play games with you. Currently about to get on some Battlefield here in a little bit. And,
yeah, get on his team. Don't go against him because he's nasty. Okay, let me just say that.
Other than that, man, vote for Pred, and I'll see you bums on the next podcast tomorrow.
Very nice. No mud trucks, please. No mud trucks. Okay. And last, but certainly not least, Rookie of the Year, rookie sensation, and #1 draft pick, apparently, according to the next podcast showrunner, Xbot448. Knox, welcome. Listen, first of all, it was great to work with you. I was excited, just as excited to work with you as you were to work with me. It was great. You had great insight. Sorry that you had the construction going on, that you probably have a headache, but I appreciate you coming to the show. Please tell everyone where they can subscribe to your channel and follow you on Twitter.
Thanks, Boom, man. Thanks for having me, man. I really do appreciate it. It was awesome to be here today, man. You got to work with these guys here on the panel. Zucker, my first time. Awesome. Pred, Mega, yourself. It was great, man. I really enjoyed it. And if you guys want, you can find me in Knox We Trust right here on YouTube. Try to put out weekly content. Saturdays on the next podcast at Xbox 448's channel and on Twitter at the Knox. Noximus1 on all platforms, Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. You know the deal. And
nice.
It was great. Awesome,
nice.
Man.
Well, listen, once again, I want to thank everybody on the panel. I want to thank the chat. It was absolutely a fantastic, strong 2-hour show. I'll be doing Crossfire tonight with Mooch and the gang. And I want to, once again, thank everybody for tuning in, hanging out. And I'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom. Have a fantastic day, and more importantly, have an awesome weekend.
Later, everybody.
Peace.